Anyway, given Trump retreated against the Houthis, what do you think the chance of a retreat is now? It's entirely dependent on the performance of the IRGC. If they can keep up the bombing campaigns, if they can actually successfully stop oil tankers brave enough to try to cross the strait, or if they can, like, if the IRGC sunk. If the IRGC sunk like an American naval carrier that's trying to insure an oil tanker as it is crossing the Strait of Hormuz, I think Donald Trump would have to recalculate, either go up the escalation ladder and deploy nukes, or eventually try to back away from it all and you know, come to terms with whoever the fuck's running Iran from that point on, and then go back to square zero. But that would require cutting Israel out of the equation. And it's going to take a lot. It's going to take a lot of phone calls from the likes of Jamie Dimon and numerous other very powerful capitalists. It's going to take a lot from allies in, you know, Japan, India, and numerous other places on that side of the world to say, hey, we can't. You're creating an energy crisis for us. We're going to start having to punish the American economy if you don't fucking come to a close on this thing. That's what it is, really. If he gets too many phone calls and simultaneously public approval diminishes as a consequence of like a big symbolic defeat of some sort, like an American naval asset getting bombed and sinking. If that's what happens, then I think Trump will back away. Not saying that that's likely to happen. You asked me, like, what it takes for Donald Trump to pull out of this situation. There's a couple factors at play here. The number one factor is to cut Israel out of the deal, to use Israel as like the reason why we did this, and basically say, yeah, they fucked up. We're gonna reconsider this deal, whatever, and yell at Israel over it and blame Israel for it, basically, because that's what the whole purpose of Israel is, right? Israel is supposed to be this like separate entity from the United States of America, a sovereign country, but an important ally. Like, that's the way it's presented. And there's a reason for that. That way we have, at the end of the day, the nuclear option of plausible deniability. If things get too out of hand, you can just blame Israel, and you can turn around and say, well, Israel's the reason why this happened. Yeah, we're going to reconsider our relationship with Israel. It sounds really unlikely that it would ever get there, especially judging by the current situation. You're like, there's no shot that could ever happen. It's entirely dependent on how bad it gets. How bad it gets for America, how bad it gets for American assets, how bad it gets for the global economy, the energy market. Depending on how stressful it is and how many fucking phone conversations that Donald Trump is receiving on the back end, they could make a deal where they say, look, you're gonna have to fall on the sword, Israel. We didn't realize that this was going to be such an extensive operation. Right now, unfortunately, it doesn't seem like that's going to happen. The Democrats are gearing up to fund this war, even though they were so critical of it. They were fake critical of it. Now they're going to say, like, we're going to give money to Israel's defense. Of course, obviously, there's no other way around it. And yeah, ultimately, I worry that this escalates to the other side, all the way up the nuclear ladder of escalation. I mean, who knows? Hopefully not. That's like not very likely as it stands currently. But if things get really bad, I could even fucking see them doing that, rather than moving in a de-escalatory manner. But I will say this. Donald Trump and the American government taking pot shots from a submarine at an unarmed naval vessel in Sri Lanka that was invited there by the Indian government for this like symbolic performance, like them using that as like a major W implies that they're not getting a lot of significant W's, right? Like an unarmed Iranian ship was invited along with the U.S. to be a part of an Indian naval exercise, and its sailors paraded on land before the president. The U.S. at the last minute pulled out of the exercise and instead attacked the Iranian ship with a fucking torpedo. Breaking with all norms of civilization and warfare, we then refused to rescue the drowning survivors. Like, we didn't do this to Nazis, okay? And Nazis didn't do this to us. Like, that's how unique this moment is. The Sri Lanka Navy was left to pull the dead bodies from the water. I am hard-pressed to think of any other nation throughout history that would do something so cowardly and despicable. We are genuinely in a league of our own, and American media mostly shrugging off the bombing of a girls' school and acting as if the carpet bombing of Tehran is a normal military tactic is deeply complicit. It's true. Yeah, Nazis saved British sailors after sinking their boats. Like, this is common practice in warfare, right? In any case, the fact that they, the very fact that they're running this as like a big campaign W, though, shows that they're desperate for anything, right? That's what it shows me. You might have a different approach to this, but like if they had some significant accomplishments, they'd be showing it. Like the B-2 bombing campaigns, if they were actually lasering with bunker busters, either they don't have that deep level of penetration inside of the munitions depots, or they just don't have anything to show for the results. So I happen to believe that it's mostly the fact that this entire procurement strategy was designed around bunker busters, designed around avoiding bunker buster munitions from the United States of America. And that's part of the reason why, like, while they close off, you know, openings and shut off like the openings of caves where these missile silos come out of before they're put on top of platforms that, you know, the TEL erector launchers, some of which are single use, some of them are more sophisticated. They tried to destroy the munitions depots, but I don't think it's working. If you see limitations in the launching capabilities this time around, you will see it on the Tel Aviv skyline, right? You will see it on the American bases in Qatar. You'll see it in the American bases in Bahrain, in the UAE, and the bombing campaigns that are continuing in the Gulf, which, by the way, for the most part, does utilize Shahed drones. They're much easier to launch. They don't have the TELs like for the usually it's like much more covert. You can just like go and easily release them off the ground, right? However, there hasn't really been that significant of a deterioration in their launching capabilities, especially when it comes to blowing up the Gulf bases. And certainly they still have munitions, ballistics, and even like smaller missiles like peppering the Tel Aviv skyline. And therefore, it leads me to believe that the Israeli side and the American bombing campaigns are not necessarily as successful as they would like you to believe it. Especially because, like, when you look through the videos that they put out there of their like successful deterioration campaigns, some of those things are fucking decoys. Like, half the time they're showcasing thermal painted decoys on the ground, or fake decoys that look like erector launchers that have a missile on it, but the missile doesn't explode, implying that it's obviously not real. It's a dud. So all of that shows me that the American and the Israeli side are having a much harder time deteriorating the Iranian launch capabilities, although they are successful at closing off the opening of these facilities, right? Because they have like a lot of surveillance on the Iranian airspace. So they're closing off the entrances, but you can dig yourself out of those entrances, right? And it's obvious that they're capable of digging themselves out of those entrances, but they're not capable of actually taking out the munitions depots at all, it seems.
David.
Bro, stop spreading misinformation. The painting things are fake. You're getting duped by misinfo. What? The painting things are fake? It's not. What the? Do you think that those are like unironically the strongest material known to man? Like, those are bombings that are hitting like successfully Iranian helicopters and shit, but then the helicopter doesn't even move a little bit, or the decoys. Look, I hate what the U.S.-Israeli regime is doing, but they're using small bombs for that. Do you think small bombs are still positively incapable of moving a rotor on a fucking helicopter? Are you insane? Like, what are they using? A pebble? I would send a link of one showing it on the helicopter, but I'm not a sub, but it's like that. Maybe someone can. Either you saw like a fake AI video or something, or we're not talking about the same thing. Also, fake decoys to exhaust the enemy's munitions is not a new technique at all. They did that shit in World War I. They did that shit in World War II. It's not new at all. Anyway, meanwhile, the proof still exists in the fucking Tel Aviv skyline, as I said. This is Tel Aviv right now. In spite of the complete blackout, in spite of the complete blackout on the Israeli side and the military censor, there are still obviously going to be people who fucking film their houses catching on fire, and you get to see successful impacts regardless. And if the American government and the Israeli government were correct, you wouldn't see any fucking impacts whatsoever. Now, these could still be from Hezbollah too, because Hezbollah is also pushing. Hezbollah is also consistently bombing, especially northern Israel. But ultimately, I think that there are still launching capabilities inside of Iran. If that wasn't the case, then the Tel Aviv skyline would be very quiet. I have no reason to like cope in this situation. I'm just trying to make sense of this and cut through the noise. There's going to be a lot of people on the Iranian side that are just like lying and constantly pumping out fucking bullshit AI videos being like, we nuked Tel Aviv. And then a lot of dumb fucks will post it and be like, look, they nuked Tel Aviv. Like, no, they're like, that's not happening. Like, you're falling for fucking AI videos, okay? To say that like things are looking fantastic on the Iranian side is also bullshit, obviously. But if we're looking at this with sober analysis, the reality is the first couple of days, they had consistent bombings like every 10 to 20 minutes, right? Both in Tel Aviv and also in the Gulf. It was nonstop. Boom, boom, boom, boom, boom, boom, boom. And they had a lot of interceptors at the time that they were expending. Now, you might think the reason why some people think that the reason why that was happening initially and it's not as consistent any longer is because they were trying to waste their older stuff. They were trying to waste the older munitions and expend the pre-existing stockpile, deteriorate the pre-existing stockpile of defense munitions on the Israeli and American side. And then now they go into like the newer stuff and they go into cluster bombs and whatnot once they've completely destroyed like the radar systems. And then they start engaging in like more direct targeting and direct strikes. That could be the case. That could be copium. I'm not a fucking expert, right? I'm not an expert at all. I'm just trying to read the fucking tea leaves. One thing I will say, however, is that this is not a good look at all for the United States of America, especially because, from what I understand, they might have lost the 5th fighter jet at this point, which is fucking crazy. Reports of a U.S. fighter jet downed over southern Iraq. Iraqi police say a U.S. fighter jet crashed in a southern Basra province with the pilot ejecting before impact, according to statements reported by Al Jazeera and Iranian state media. Basra Police Command told Al Jazeera their officers were dispatched to search for the American pilot who ejected within the province. Authorities say the pilot has not yet been located. They're saying this is a fake news story. Images circulating on Iraqi social media purport to show the aircraft going down and the pilot ejecting. I don't know if this is real or not. I have no idea. And the United States is denying that this happened. A U.S. official denies reports that an American fighter jet was shot down over Basra province in southern Iraq, telling Al Jazeera the claims are false. I don't know. Both sides have a lot to gain in the information war here from lying. They do. So it could be either It could be either party lying in the situation. The American side is not going to say the truth. The American side is not going to say the truth. And the reason why the American side is not going to say the fucking truth is because, like, it's a big morale diminisher when the glorious, mighty American military with all of its, like, multi-billion-dollar weapons is having a hard fucking time stopping Iranian loiter munitions. All of a sudden, you got a problem, right? You take a big, decisive blow because force projection is the name of the game. Force projection is within your capabilities. Like it's a big part of the confidence that you develop. If you can no longer offer security assurances to people that have set up American bases on their soil, all of a sudden, why the fuck would anybody want to be a missile sponge for Israel, right? This is one of the sides of this story that a lot of people are not talking about. Everyone looks at the situation and goes, oh, the Gulf is really mad at Iran. Yeah, of course they're really mad at Iran. Iran is bombing them, okay? It's true. But what they don't realize is a lot of the Gulf leadership is also making this calculation in their minds where they're like, bro, we've bought billions of dollars of weapons from you, and you're literally allowing us to be missile sponges for Israel. What the fuck? A country that has bombed some of the Gulf. Like, I don't think people understand the collective psyche in this region right now. Americans do not comprehend it. They look at it and they go, of course, they're just like really mad at Iran. Iran is the big bad. Iran is the enemy. Iran is the, these guys are very mad at Iran. Yes, they are mad at Iran. Okay. Of course they're mad at Iran. But you know who they're also mad at? They didn't give Iran $1 billion. They gave America billions of dollars, and they're fucking oil-rich countries. And what has America done in return? What has America done for them in return? Turned their fucking countries with other billions of dollars of investments to try to fucking bring white people over with all their real estate projects and all their glory and all their marketing and all their sports washing. What is America doing? Using their existence as a fucking bullet and missile sponge for Israel and America. Like, the average population, in my opinion, from the people I've talked to, at least in the region, they're less mad at Iran than they are at fucking America and Israel. But I'm talking about the leadership that designed these contracts, the leadership that said, we're going to give you billions of dollars of petroleum and we're going to buy your fucking weapons because eventually when push comes to shove, you will defend us. When the defense doesn't come, you're like, what the fuck? Why am I giving you this oil? What the fuck is this? So let me understand this. I'm a Gulf Royal. I have trillions of dollars of oil, okay? You help with the refinement and the procurement process. That's fine. I could do it on my own, but let's say we're working with American contractors. This is a very beneficial situation for American capital. We've opened up our doors entirely to American investment. And in exchange for that, we get better deals with America. We get to do sports washing. We get to exist not under the boot, but as a part of the boot. You know, we're the bootstraps of the boot, right? Fuck everybody else. But now the calculation is different. Now you got Israel that has literally bombed Qatar directly, bombed Doha, and killed a Qatari national. This is very significant. Okay? Israel killed a Qatari national when they struck Doha amidst the negotiations that were taking place between the Trump envoys and Hamas, right? That was a big fucking deal. It was such a big deal that Donald Trump made Benjamin Netanyahu phone the Qatari royals and apologize, right? On camera. That was a big fucking deal because, you know, these guys are pretty fucking racist. Like, you getting a Jewish supremacist to like apologize to an Arab is a pretty fucking embarrassing moment for Benjamin Netanyahu, right? And they did that because they struck Doha. That was ridiculous. They struck not at a military target either, by the way. They just struck a civilian target and they killed a Qatari national. There's not that many of them, right? In comparison to the residents. So So that was done because something had to give, right? But in the aftermath of that, when the GCC is like, what the fuck? They're letting Israel blow us up? Like, we have American bases. We're supposed to be allies. Seems like there's a different ally of much higher worth here. While they're making that calculation, all of a sudden, they turn into bullet sponges. Their American bases turn into bullet sponges. There's also instability because there's like American service members that are like staying in hotels and staying in civilian properties. And now those properties are getting bombed. Now the American embassies are getting bombed. All of a sudden there's mass chaos, mass instability. And it's you know, their countries are now missile sponges and bullet sponges. It's like all of a sudden you're like, what the fuck am I doing this for? Why am I giving you all this oil? Like, so I can just be there and direct some of the fucking munitions away from Israel? Like, the fuck is this shit? So anyone that tries to tell you that, like, lol, Iran is just shooting at everyone, how stupid, is oblivious to the actual dynamic, right? Like, are they mad at Iran? Of course, Iran is fucking bombing their investment. It's a big deal, right? It's making white people not want to live in the Gulf. They love white people living in the Gulf, okay? But they're more mad at America for not defending them because they paid for that defense. They paid for that defense with a shit ton of oil. And not only do they pay for that defense with oil, they paid for that defense with a lot of social capital as well, because it's not like the fucking nationals are super fond of having American bases. They don't fuck with America. These are monarchies, right? Sure, there's no real democratic process, but you got to keep the fucking nationals happy. So there's always this delicate balance that MBS has to strike in Riyadh, for example, right? There's not a lot of nationals, but at the end of the day, those nationals have to be compliant with this deal making, which is precisely the reason why MBS can't come out and be like, fuck the Palestinians, right? Because if he did, then his nationals would rise up. Like, there would be a fucking rebellion, right? And that's why it's a more delicate situation than it is presented. Sure, the royals love having direct access to Israel. The royals love having direct access to Western capital, right? That's great. And so do the wealthy Saudis in general. However, they still can't straight up be like, fuck the Palestinians. Fuck our Muslim Arab brothers that are being destroyed. It's a very important issue for a lot of Arabs in this region, including those who live in the fucking Gulf. And the reason why I'm bringing this up again and again and again is to educate you a little bit on this, to help you understand why MBS will do the Abraham Accords, but will do it quietly. And the only time you ever hear about his like true opinion on Palestinians is like, you know, in a private meeting or something where there's a leak that came out where he's like, I don't give a fuck about the Palestinians. I wish they would just go away. But he will never say that publicly. The public proclamations that come from the Gulf states, from all of the leadership, the royals, is always, we care about the Palestinians. Israel has gone too far, blah, blah, blah, blah, blah. But like behind closed doors, they're like, yeah, whatever, chop them up. Who gives a shit? Okay. Not important enough for these Arabs to overthrow these governments, just saying both sides are all talk. Brother, we're American. The fuck are you talking about? If you're comfortable enough not to overthrow your goddamn government, why the fuck should they? They're oil rich. They get plenty of fucking amenities. They get plenty of they literally have like a pliant slave class. For them, shit's fine enough. You know? Shit's even better over there if you're a national or a member of the fucking royal family than it is for the average American. And the average American ain't fucking going out and you know, storming the nearest military base. So if you're happy enough, if you're pliant enough because you get your jalapeno poppers for fucking $5 and you watch your American football and you shut the fuck up, then obviously the Saudis are like, yeah, we're really mad about what Israel's doing, but also things are fine overall. Okay? But yeah, I can't stress this enough, though. This is a decisive blow at the confidence and force projection that America has, and every other global leader, every other great power in this world has seen it. You'll hear a very different story You'll hear a very different story from American news. Obviously, American news will be like, "Oh, our mighty weapons are fucking destroying our enemies. Amalek, Amalek. We're purging the world of this great evil." Oh my God, you need to stop spamming Scott Ritter, dude. Okay, please, Jesus fucking Christ. I promise you, it's not as good as a clip as you think it is. I got it, bro. You love Scott Ritter, okay? He's a little bit of a kooky guy. I'm sorry, to say the least. As a Euro-pathetic Hasanabi head, what the hell is a Genopolo popper? Jalapeno popper. It's a deep-fried, cheese-packed jalapeno pepper. It's delicious. I like to use it as a symbolism of American servility. So yeah, I think the situation is not as black and white as it's presented in American news. And I don't think like Iran is doing a fucking phenomenal job either. Like, I'm not saying that like, oh, Iran has really got Israel on the back foot right now or anything like that. Obviously, their striking capabilities have deteriorated, at least judging by the frequency and the efficiency of the strikes. Looking at the strike patterns on Tel Aviv, it's clear that they have, you know, they probably still have a lot more missiles. It's just they're having a harder time launching them. But clearly America has not like destroyed their launching capabilities in the way that they're presenting it. This is just how it is. It's always how it is. Anytime there's a incident, anytime there's war, you have both sides that try to make their side seem like they're fucking winning. It's information war.
David.
Oh my god! Oh! One! Your mother! Two! Mother is a car?
אין אזעקה. אוי, הוא נופל, נראה לי שהוא נופל.
נופל!
מה זה?
הוא נפל.
וואו!
נפל!
כן, הוא נפל.
There's a lot of Israeli censorship too. Yeah, I mean, of course, all the Gulfs have censorship regimes too, obviously. So it's not looking great. Like overall, there are still a lot of successful impact sites, and it's quite difficult to present this alternative reality where like, you know, America's fucking killing it and Israel's able to like successfully defend itself from attacks such as this. Trump is live with Lionel Messi? What the fuck? What the fuck? Oh, dude, that is crazy.
A lot of them are political champions, and we don't care about them today, right? Right, Duffy? But we have, most importantly, wonderful people that love our country. And before we begin, I think I will say a few words about what's going on with respect to our operation in the United States military, together with the wonderful Israeli partners, continues to totally demolish the enemy far ahead of schedule and at levels that people have never seen before, actually.
I mean,
we're destroying more of Iran's missiles and drones.
Like, I think Ronaldo did this too, to be fair. I guess they're both like fucking charlatans.
Nobody thought was possible. As soon as they set off a missile, within 4 minutes, the launch.
I mean, Messi is.
They don't know what's happening.
He's Argentinian. What do you expect?
We have the greatest
you know?
military. 24 ships, anti-aircraft weapons are gone. So they have no air force. They have no air defense. Missiles are gone. Launches are gone. About 60% and 64% respectively. Other than that, they're doing quite well. I said, what's left? But they're tough, and they want to fight. And they're calling, they're saying, how do we make a deal? I said, you're being a little bit late. And we want to fight now more than they do. We've had 47 years, depending on the way you count it, but 47 years of horror with this group. And, you know, when you see somebody walking down the street without their legs, without the arms, whose face is so badly affected and hurt. It mostly came from 95% Soleimani and Iran, and we, other presidents, lived with it. I didn't live with it. And so our people are doing a great job. Again, the greatest military anyone's seen. Thank you.
What are you clapping, big
Thank you
dog?
very
What are you
much.
clapping there?
And yesterday, my administration
The guy
announced
behind him was like,
decisive
"Why are you
action
clapping?"
to help keep down
Literally,
fuel prices.
the dude in the back was like, "What are you doing? What the fuck? Yo, keep your claps to yourself, man."
Transiting into the Gulf, as you know, pretty dangerous territory. Further action to reduce pressure on
Luis
oil
Suarez
is
clapping.
imminent,
Dog
and
has
the
no
oil
idea
seems
what
to
was
pretty
said. He's
much
like,
stable.
I love American weapons, very good. Dude, long gone are the days of my fucking goat, okay? My goddamn goat, Diego Maradona, okay? Let me see if I can fucking pull up like a communist fan cam real quick. You know what I mean? Here, look at that. Look at this. Look at this. This is a real man right here.
Muchísimas gracias. Yo le puedo poner lo que quiera.
Para mí fue un segundo padre, un hombre al cual yo adoro. Fidel no es solamente de los.
The Americans gave me an award. They gave me one in Cuba as well. I told the Americans, keep it to yourselves. I'm getting one in Cuba.
Y me dan un premio en Cuba. Dije, americanos, quédense con el premio, yo me voy a recibirlo a Cuba.
Yeah. The fucking goat, dude. The fucking goat. Anyway, let's get back to these fucking losers. All right, here.
To take back your country. Accept immunity. We'll give you immunity. And we'll be giving you really the right side of history, because that's what it is. So you'll be perfectly safe with total immunity, or you'll face absolutely guaranteed death. And I don't want to see that. They don't want to see it either. We also urge Iranian diplomats around the world to request asylum and to help us shape a new and better Iran with great potential. It's a country with great potential. It's much better future for Iran. It's now beginning. It's going to be, I think, a great future. And the United States will ensure that whoever leads the country next, Iran will not threaten America or its neighbors, Israel, anybody. If you look at what happened, they had missiles aimed at all of these other countries, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, UAE, many others, and that weren't really
This link
involved
shows
very
Messi's
much. And they had
reaction.
missiles aimed. Well, they were aimed there long before this ever started. They were going after the entire Middle East. And then we came along. Neighbors, Israel, anybody. If you look at what happened, they had missiles aimed at all of these other countries, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, UAE, many others, that weren't really involved very much, and they had missiles aimed. Well, they were aimed there long before this ever started.
They
were going
weren't
after the
involved
entire
very much.
Middle East.
Dog, you have American military bases on them, and you declared war on Iran. You bombed them first amidst the negotiation process. Of course, they're
But
going to
the
fucking
people that
bomb
have been
back.
involved-
They're like, damn, I can't believe it. I can't believe Iran is fighting back. Don't you know that's illegal? That's the argument here. It's like the fucking centrist Democrats crying on the timeline about Graham Plattner being like, he has to drop out right now, even though he's 20 points ahead. I will not elaborate, and I will not tell you why I have a vision in the affirmative as to why you should vote for my candidate. No, he should just drop out. Like, that's literally what's fucking happening right now. It's so funny.
And we think that we want to finish this one first, but that will be just a question of time before you and a lot of unbelievable people are going to be going back to Cuba. Hopefully not to stay. We want you back, and we don't want to lose you. We don't want to make it so nice that they stay. But some people probably do want to stay. They love Cuba so much. I hear it all the time. That was another one that wasn't supposed to happen. Venezuela is going great.
Unfucking believable. The appetite, the avarice, the destruction for this fucking asshole,
Rodriguez,
dude.
And she and her staff have been doing a fantastic job working with us. We're taking out hundreds of millions of barrels of oil, and it's going to Houston and various other places where it's being refined, and we're sending them back far more money than they've made in many years, and actually very shortly it'll be more money than they've ever made. And Venezuela is working. So we've had a lot of countries in places that truly love, you would say football, I would say soccer, but these are all countries that love football/soccer. And so I think the group.
Oh, Messi liked that
it.
one.
And if you'd
fucking
like,
idiot.
you can sit. I know I'm a very exciting speaker, but you can sit down if you'd like, okay? I'm looking at everybody standing. I'm saying, let's sit down. Because we're here to honor these great champions, and we want to take our time, right? Let's get to the reason that we're here, and it's a beautiful reason because we're honoring truly talented people. Today we're thrilled to host the...
Yeah, my favorite thing is watching what Centcom has to say that day just so I know what exactly happened. Rumors are circulating on social media of a U.S. fighter jet shot down over Basra. These are baseless and not true. Why did you have to edit from crash to shot down? Rumors are circulating on social media of a U.S. fighter jet crash over Basra. These are baseless and not true. Every day, I love seeing what Centcom has to say because, like, it's basically the exact opposite has taken place. Okay? Every time Centcom comes out and is like, it's not true. The rumors. Breaking, multiple Iranian missiles have struck Tel Aviv and other areas in central Israel. Video show buildings sustaining heavy damage, and one missile reportedly landed near Ben Gurion Airport, which hosts U.S. aerial refueling tankers used in operations against Iran. Another missile appeared to carry a cluster munition warhead, detonating midair and dispersing numerous sub-munitions. No interception attempts were visible in the footage of that strike. Earlier today, Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps published a video showing the launch of Khaybar, the Khorramshahr 4, ballistic missiles towards Israel. It is not immediately clear whether the missiles seen in Tel Aviv strike footage were from that system. It was not immediately clear whether any settlers were injured or killed in these attacks. Valid target if it refuels military planes, or so we've been told for the past 3 years. Yes, this is this is as dual use as it gets, by the way. That's why I tweeted that out when American fighter jets were landing in Ben Gurion Airport. Like, that's dual use. Okay? Straight up. You have a military base where military planes can land, and you're out here using the fucking Ben Gurion Airport. It's crazy. Yeah, civilian planes are sharing the Israeli airport with military tankers right now. Like, it's fucking crazy. I know Trump said we will celebrate soon about Cuba. I know. Okay, I haven't really talked about Cuba as much. Obviously, we still have plans of going. I'm asking the teams to, like, possibly set a contingency plan because we have one method of travel right now, but we might need a different one if America decides to do some fuck shit in Cuba. My fear right now is that Trump, in a final act of desperation, as things are looking really poorly, things are going really shittily in fucking Iran, is going to try to get an easy W in his mind. And then he's going to try to launch like a decapitation strike or something. God forbid. I hope not. Allah nazardan saklasın. But that he's going to launch a strike or something, or try to arrest and depose and kidnap the leadership of Cuba or something. As much as I like you, Messi's on screen. Let me see my goat. Yeah, your fucking goat is literally washed, brother. I'm sorry to say. I know it's important, but please don't go to Cuba right now. It doesn't seem worth it. Man, shut up. That's crazy. Your goat is washed too. I mean, that's true, actually. That's true. Lazionist. Lazionist James. Hebron James. Look, if I can admit that my fucking goat is washed, you can admit that your goat is washed too. All of our goats are washed. They're all fucking billionaires. They're all so goddamn rich. They don't give a fuck about anything. They have no honor. They have no loyalty. They have no loyalty to the people. They have no honor at all. They are just fucking assholes. And the faster we all realize that, the better things will be for all of us. That's it. Oh my God, people are still spamming Likud James. I know, man. I know. You think I don't fucking know? I know. That's what I'm talking about right now. Listen to my words. I am cognizant. I am recognizing that my fucking goat is washed too. Sometimes you gotta find new goats. That's why Wemby Yao Mao would never fucking betray me like this. What is this? Hezbollah has been announcing rocket and strike drone attacks against Israel's Ramat David Air Base, which is home to F-16 fighters at 50 kilometers to the Lebanese border. To be determined whether such attacks will suppress Israeli Air Force operations tempo, but this is part of Iran's grand plan that worked for 18 years until everything came apart in September 2024. Note that the map in the image 2 is outdated and included to illustrate the IAF dispositions across multiple air bases. Note how large caliber rockets appear to remain part of Hezbollah's arsenal. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they still have the stockpiles. It's clear. Like, Israel hasn't been able to successfully destroy the fucking munition stockpile of Hezbollah either, even though Hezbollah is like right there. And I do suspect that like you need either bigger bombs that Israel doesn't have, or you need to deploy troops, which Israel will not do, because every time they fucking step foot in Lebanese territory controlled by Hezbollah, they come in vertically and they end up leaving horizontally, as they like to say. Someone should inform the Iraqis in Basra that they should stop celebrating because Centcom has just fact-checked them. So I guess, like, did it fucking fall or not in Basra? Did we lose another plane? I don't know. Did we lose another healthcare? Did we lose another rural hospital in Basra? I'm never going to talk about these planes and about these munitions with the proper names. I'm just going to tell you what it is, okay? You're guilty of this? That Jubilee hack got you to warn y'all what Iranian monarchists are like and y'all were too busy cracking jokes? That's so true. That is so true. I did. I watched this motherfucker and I was like, wow, he's a magician. I would like to hear more from this man, please. Turns out I don't want to hear from this man at all. I don't want to hear from monarchists at all. Reports of a U.S. fighter jet down over southern Iraq. Iraqi police say, yeah, I covered this already. Authorities say the pilot has not yet been located. Images circulating on Iraqi social media purport to show the aircraft going down, the pilot ejecting. Iranian outlet Fars News described the aircraft as an aggressor fighter jet, though it remains unclear whether it was American or Israeli. The circumstances of the crash and whether the aircraft was shot down or suffered a malfunction have not yet been confirmed. Visual confirmation of an Iranian missile directly impacting Kuwait. This is old, isn't it? I love reading the same exact drop site news posts 1,700 times a day. Because people keep spamming the same link over and over again. The moment 2 Iranian hypersonic missiles hit the U.S. naval base in Bahrain. That's not a hypersonic, I don't think. The first one was, though. Israeli War Minister Israel Katz says we had decided to carry out a preemptive strike against Hezbollah, but it preempted that by attacking Israel first. Why admit it at that point? What the fuck? Preempting the preemptor. Oh, that's funny. That now that's a preemptive strike, okay? That's a real preemptive strike. There's a legal justification for it, especially after the fucking Israeli leadership confirmed that they were supposed to do a fucking preemptive strike. Yes, I know Centcom says it's fake. Centcom says everything is fake. When Centcom says something is fake, know that it's probably not fake, okay? That's not a naval base, the oil refinery. Centcom is saying you're not real. Time magazine unveils new cover. I mean, why don't they have Make Israel Great Again hats? You weren't lying about Shahed drone's simplicity and affordability.
Did you know why the Shahed 136 drone is so deadly? It's just 11 feet long with an 8-foot wingspan, but it carries a 40-kilogram warhead and can fly over 1,800 kilometers to strike with deadly precision. The engine, loud and rough.
It's literally a fucking lawnmower. Okay?
It's not stealthy. You hear it coming. But can you stop it? It costs just $20,000, but taking it down can cost anywhere from $400,000 to $4 million. That's like trying to stop a bicycle with a Lamborghini.
It's true. Saying make Israel great again implies it's not currently great. Why are you anti-Semitic? I apologize. Em Israel Chai. Em Israel Chai. Em Israel Chai. So here's the thing. The Kurdish stuff is inconsistent. There's numerous groups and there's a lot of misinformation flying around. Some of the Kurdish leadership has made it seem like they have an appetite to foment rebellion, and some are like, no, we're not doing that. We're either they're saying we're staying out of this, or they're saying we're with Iran. So there isn't like a single resource that we can go to be like, this is what the Kurds are doing. You just got to sit and wait, I guess. In calls this week, the Kurdish minority leaders in Iran and Iraq, Trump offered extensive U.S. air cover and other backing for anti-regime Iranian Kurds to take over positions in western Iran. The American request to Iraqi Kurds is to open the way and not obstruct Iranian Kurdish groups mobilizing in Iraq, while also providing logistical support, said a senior official of the Patriotic Union of Kurdistan, one of two major political parties that govern Iraq's semi-autonomous Kurdish region. A lot of the Kurds are also very, very mad at me and saying I'm a Turkish ethno-nationalist. It's really funny that they're saying that, because Turks say I'm a Kurd lover for my support for Rojava. It's very cool to constantly be a tanky and also a Democratic Party liberal centrist. Just as I am a pan-Turanist, ultra-nationalist Turk that wants to murder every Kurd, but also I love the development of Kurdistan more than I love Turkey, and I want the Kurds to rise up and take over Turkey. I'm on r/Kurdistan. Almost everyone was agreeing with you, actually. Yeah. Obviously, if you listen to what I have to say, it's more so a disappointment in any group that would engage in like what is very clearly going to be yet another fucking CIA Mossad operation that ends up leaving the Kurds in a position where they absolutely get bombed in the aftermath, like 100%. And for some reason, they just like refuse to hear that side of it, where I always say, like, look, eventually, no matter what the Kurds do, America's going to go, okay, Turkey, go ahead. You can go bomb the Kurdish villages. And that's just the truth. And that's literally what has happened over and over again. And if people don't fucking understand that, I don't know what to tell them. Like, it's always the same. It's always the fucking same. It happens every single time. Like, Rojava is the greatest example of this, where it was like autonomous region. It was designed around, like, you know, principled socialism. The problem was the Kurds were also sometimes aligning with whoever would offer them stability, which included, like, you know, working with Assad at times as well. If their primary enemy in the region is ISIS, sometimes you're going to have to fucking deal with whoever is, you know, killing ISIS, right? And it's crazy that, like, once HTS and the Turkish forces, Turkish-backed militias, like, took over the country, they just straight up gave up Rojava in its entirety. America just said, no, of course you're not going to get fucking protected. Like, it blows my mind that that's always the fucking case. And yet there is still some kind of appetite for instability, for fomenting instability at the behest of the CIA and at the behest of Mossad. And there's like hella people on the fucking Twitter timeline yelling at me over it. Like, we didn't just watch Rojava as a project fucking get destroyed in real fucking time. And yes, Squirrel said some fucking unhinged shit. Just, you know, they're very emotional and they get very fucking insane at times. They think I'm the #1 op, okay? They think I'm a CIA operative. Who gives a shit? Just, you know, just stop listening to this anonymous poster, please. If it angers you so much, then just don't listen to them. I don't know what else to tell you. Okay? I know it's like, it was like genocidal sentiment pretty much. I know. Yeah, I saw this Macron shit. That's weird too. I don't know what the fuck he's doing. An F-15 fighter jet was targeted and destroyed by the Army's air defense missile systems in Alborz Heights. Can you explain the Baloch-Afghan pack angle? Yes, there are some Balochi separatists that live in this region of Balochistan between Pakistan and Iran, and both of these countries are constantly trying to suppress their independence movements. And I think what happened is, like, the American government went to them. They're one of the ethnic minorities inside of Iran, and America went to them with the same deal that they went to the Kurds with, to say, hey, if you fuck shit up, like, we'll offer you some aerial coverage, and then you can have your own little piece of Iran. Like, we'll balkanize Iran, because the goal is to create instability, right? So, they went to, like, there are numerous ethnic groups. Iran is a very diverse country. I know from where we're standing, like, Americans don't understand what the difference between, like, a Shia Muslim or a Sunni is. But even outside of, like, religious beliefs, there's also many different ethnic groups that live in Iran. Iran is 93 million, but I believe, what is it, like 60 million is Persian. There are Arabs in Iran. There are Afro-Iranians, as a matter of fact, which I didn't know about either. That was, like, shocking to me. Apparently the Mina school is in a region where a bunch of Afro-Iranians live in. I did not know that. There is like a quarter of the country is Kurdish, I think. 90 million is huge. Yeah. There's Azeri Turks that are Iranian. There are numerous religions in Iranian society. There's Jews, there's Christians. I think they're like Coptic Christians, I believe. Like, there are a lot of people. There are a lot of different religious there are a lot of different religions represented. There are a lot of different races and ethnic groups represented in Iran. And America, as always, is trying to fucking cut it apart and create a balkanization procedure here to destroy the nation state. Yeah, Assyrian Christians, Armenian Christians, yeah. So 90 million ain't that big, US bigger. Brother, 90 million is massive. What are you talking about? If we're now saying 93 million as a population is not that big, I would. There's like, I seen bigger, brother. Like, that's an enormous country. This post is how I found out about Afro-Iranians. Yeah, the Minab school strike that killed hundreds of schoolgirls occurred in southern Hormozgan province, home to many Afro-Iranians. Footage from the massive funeral is a reminder of a part of Iran and a community that many outside and even inside the country we rarely hear about. Yeah. Türkiye girer mi bu işe? Kürtler girerse Türkiye de girer. Amerika ile beraber. Yeah, map shows how big Iran is compared to the 50 US states. It's only the 17th largest country on the planet. You know what I mean? It's like, out of all the fucking countries, if you're looking at like only 16 other countries that have a larger population, that's a pretty fucking large country, man. That's crazy. Yeah, it's like looking at the United States of America and being like, US ain't that big. I've seen bigger. I'm like, okay, yeah, you got China, India. Excuse me. USA ain't that big. Northern Iran is closer to Poland than it is to southern Iran. Anyway, is the most powerful country potentially out of any country in the MENA region. American sanctions have destroyed its potential. Yes. It is precisely how large it is and how powerful it could be. That is the reason why. Its potential is the reason why America and Israel have constantly tried to destroy it. And now they are taking the initiative to destroy it. It's unacceptable. CHP, the CHP, Social Democratic Party, Genel Başkan, leader Özgür Özel, met up with Pedro, or is like tweeting at Pedro. Dear friend Pedro, we celebrate the honorable stance you have taken against the aggression of the United States and Israel. This attitude of yours has brought Turkey and Spain even closer together. We stand by your side against the threats from the Trump administration.
There too.
Yeah, leftists for years. NATO is a vehicle for U.S. imperialism. Intellectual children. No, it's not. NATO, we are a vehicle for U.S. imperialism. Yeah, I do like the vulgarity coming from Trump, and also now all of the most like servile little piggies that are openly saying the quiet part out loud. It makes my job a lot easier as a communicator, as someone who's supposed to tell you the fucking truth. Makes it much easier when they just reveal the truth themselves. Now, of course, the reality of the matter is when you rip the mask off, people take sides, right? People take sides. A lot of those people that were like, no, NATO is actually a defensive position against the USSR, against Russia, all of a sudden, when the mask is ripped, realize it's a American imperialist vehicle, and they like it. Turns out, shocking, but they like American imperialism. A lot of these fucking bread tubers that have been NATO dick riders in perpetuity will now openly tell you, well, I'd rather have American imperialism than, I don't know, the imperialism of China that might happen in the fucking future, right? Like, that's it. It turns out that was always the case. It turns out that all of the other seasoning that they were adding on, like NATO is a defensive contract, it's defensive, it's a defensive partnership. It was engaging in the honorable act of defense against the nation state of Libya. When they were doing the bombing campaign in Libya, they were doing it defensively, right? Like all those people all of a sudden will just tell you what the truth is. They don't fucking believe that it's a defensive partnership. They don't give a shit. They want American imperialism. They benefit from it. They recognize that they benefit from it, and they like it. They're terrified of any sort of alternative.
NATO is there to protect us collectively against any adversary, be it Russia or whoever, or terrorism. But also it is a platform for the United States to project power on the world stage. Because this whole...
For years I've been arguing. And he just comes out and says it. Man. What the fuck?
Operation now, this whole campaign in Iran needs these basing requests to be positively engaged with by NATO allies, as they are doing, making use of key assets here in Europe. So the fact that
NATO olmazsa ne yapacağız? Önemli bir kurum değil mi Türkiye için? Oğlum sen ne diyorsun lan? Ulan Türkiye NATO'nun bir parçası olmasa zaten anasını sikerlerdi Türkiye'nin yıllar önce de. Türkiye NATO'nun bir parçası olmasaydı, mesela Sovyet'in bir parçası olsaydı çok değişik bir dünyada yaşıyorduk şu anda yani. Haberin olsun. Aynı zamanda da NATO olmasa Türkiye Avrupa'nın anasını siker. Türkiye'nin kendi endüstrisi var. Silah endüstrisi var. Başka ülkelerde olmadığı gibi silah endüstrisi var. Avrupalılar Türkiye'den alıyor bayraktarları. Avrupalılar Türkiye'nin silah endüstrisine gidiyor, oradan alıyor, silah satın alıyor. Türkiye'nin inanılmaz bir ordusu var. Günün sonunda Türkiye eğer otonomous olsa, kendi başına bu işi yapıyor olsa belki daha bile büyük bir şey olabilir yani. Daha bile büyük bir güç olabilir. Ama yani emperyalist bir dizaynı da var Türkiye'nin, doğru söylemek gerekirse. Yeah, NATO chair talking to fucking Newsmax. Milli burjuvamız ve NATO Türkiye'nin canını okudu. Evet. Ama NATO anasını sikti Türkiye'nin de. Ben evet sosyalist olduğum için böyle bir düşünüyorum yani. Hani Türkler bunu kabul etmezler. Gerçi Türkler de hem NATO'yu sevmez hem de aynı zamanda NATO'dan yerler yani.
Still coming that will be able to project over Iran is a multiples of what it currently is right now when you add up our capabilities and those of the Israeli Defense Forces. And we have no shortage of authorities. The Admiral knows we have clear objectives with maximum authorities on the battlefield. The dumb, politically correct wars of the past were the opposite of what we're doing here. They had vague objectives.
Doğru söylemek gerekirse NATO olmasa şu anda İsrail zaten bombalamış Türkiye'yi.
No more.
Amına koyayım.
Our authorities, his authorities, Centcom's authorities through the president and myself are maxed out. Our capabilities are overwhelming and gathering still, as are those of our Israeli partners. Our munitions are full up, and our will is ironclad, which means our timeline is ours and ours alone to control.
When will Pete Hegseth, there should be a poly market bet on when Pete Hegseth will sincerely use maxing and mogging while describing American military action.
And as our munitions, as we're flying over the top, have even more devastating effects, we set the tempo, we set the timeline, led by the commander on the ground.
Told you.
Our ear is to the ground.
See? Financial Times exclusive. Gulf states rethinking future investments in the U.S. because of the strain of the war. They're trying to force the U.S. to end the war. Told you.
And we have the right commander in the lead. So I'll now hand it over to Admiral Brad Cooper to give you an update right here from CENTCOM. Admiral.
Mr. Secretary, first, thank you very much and good afternoon and welcome to U.S. Central Command Headquarters, America's warfighting headquarters. It's great to be here alongside the Secretary and representing the more than 50,000 men and women in uniform currently executing Operation Epic Fury. So, Mr. Secretary, first, thank you very much for your leadership and support and the very clear vision and objectives that you've given us to allow us to use overwhelming force against the Iranian terrorist regime. And thanks to all of you for attending today and welcome to Tampa. We are now starting our 6th day of a historic mission to eliminate Iran's ability to threaten Americans. We are, if I could channel my inner Navy officer, we are at full speed ahead in executing orders given by leadership in Washington. The President and Secretary Hegseth have been crystal clear in their expectations, and we are at a high level of execution. As described by the Secretary and earlier this week by me, U.S. combat power is building as Iranian combat power declines. Our air dominance allows us to hit Iran's center of gravity with overwhelming power and reach. A couple of examples. In just the last 72 hours, America's bomber force has struck nearly 200 targets deep inside of Iran, including around Tehran. And in just the last hour, U.S. B-2 bombers dropped dozens of 2,000-pound penetrator bombs, targeting deeply buried ballistic missile launchers. Notably, we've also struck Iran's equivalent of Space Command, which degrades their ability to threaten Americans. Then, if I just look back over the last 24 hours of the operation compared to where we were at start, ballistic missile attacks have decreased by 90% since day one. Drone attacks have decreased by 83% since day one.
Yeah, it's capping.
Having said this, we remain
It's big
vigilant.
caps.
Our strikes against the Iranian Navy have intensified. You may have heard the President say just a little while ago that we have sunk or destroyed 24 ships. That was true at the moment. We're now up over 30 ships. And in just the last few hours, we hit an Iranian drone carrier ship, roughly the size of a World War II aircraft carrier, and as we speak, it's on fire. The President gave us another task, to raise or level Iran's ballistic missile industrial base. So we're not just hitting what they have, we're destroying their ability to rebuild. And so as we transition to the next phase of this operation, we will systemically dismantle Iran's missile production capability for the future, and that's absolutely in progress. This is going to take some time, but our forces are well supplied, as the Secretary said, and we are absolutely ready to prosecute this mission decisively. Our combined joint forces have relentlessly destroyed Iran's air defenses over the past few days, and they've continued hunting for more systems to kill. Our air defenders are operating at the very top of their game. I couldn't be prouder, shoulder to shoulder with our partners in the region in many cases, providing the most integrated air defense network in Middle East history. We are fighting to win. Through combined U.S. and Israeli combat power, we will continue decimating Iran's ability to project power outside its borders. And if I can just conclude by saying a strong salute to the brave men and women who are out on the pointy edge of this, really doing exceptional work. I just couldn't be prouder, and I know the American people share in that same pride. So thank you very much.
Absolutely. And with that, we'll take a few questions. Yeah, right here.
Sir, appreciate it. Admiral, I wanted to ask, or Mr. Secretary, the Ukrainian president said today that the U.S. has asked for specific capability to deal with Shahid drones, Iranian drones. And you guys talked about what you asked for, and has there been any surprises from Iranian capabilities that you guys have seen in the past 6 days?
Bro, here is Ori Goldberg from Israel. Says Israeli air defense authorities are faltering. Over the past 2 days, we have received numerous advanced warnings, but no alarms, as well as missiles infiltrating air defenses despite advanced warnings. Israel can talk about aerial supremacy, but it cannot defend its own citizens. We're not seeing the full picture, both out of Israel, and we're not seeing the full picture from Iran either. All of the numbers that they give is bullshit. Whenever any country, like Iran, the IRGC will come out and be like, we killed 500 soldiers. That's fucking bullshit, okay? They did not kill 500 soldiers. Just like when America says we've deteriorated the Iranian strike capabilities by 73%. That's also fucking bullshit, okay?
As you can imagine,
they're lying.
Iran is doing everything
like
it
both
can to
parties
peddle
are lying.
lies,
This is a big part of
deception,
fucking
and
waging
inflation
war.
Of numbers and reality, mostly to propagandize to their own people, right? They've shut down the internet. They're hoping they can convince their own population that they're having success. One thing one of their leaders said recently is that 500 Americans have been killed. They claim. These are lies.
It's bullshit.
The lies will continue. Centcom will continue to debunk those lies. So
Notice how he's not saying the F-15 that fell over Iraq is a lie, though, because that's real.
The nuclear material and things like that. One of the objectives
that's
the president
real.
Always said is that Iran
the 500 soldiers is fake, obviously, which is why he immediately went to that and was like, "That's bullshit. That's not real."
Operational plans. So Admiral Cooper's got a plan. We're working that plan, and targets will be struck or not struck according to what we want to achieve. Yeah, right there.
Secretary Hegseth, the president said earlier.
Things you can look for to read through the like where the conflict is going, for example, is like troop positioning, what roles they're trying to fill with like security clearances, shit like that. like people who will scour through the bodies and properties of soldiers that have fallen. If you know someone who's in the Air Force and they're in America right now and they're like suspiciously flying to the region tomorrow, well, that's probably not a good thing, right? Maybe they were supposed to go in April, but now they're actually flying out now, right? Things like that happen all the fucking time in the United States of America. Or when, like, I don't know, Tampa Centcom is like trying to hire more people, and are looking at a runway that is like a lot longer than maybe 5 weeks or 4 weeks or whatever they said, how long they said this was going to be. These are the things you can look at to see, like, these are the things you can analyze to see, like, where at least they plan this is going to go.
Brad Cooper's laser focused on Central Command, just like Frank Donovan is laser focused on Southern Command. We can do both. That's what a global power can do. Ultimately, this issue of Iran's nuclear pursuit and their unwillingness through negotiations to stop it was something President Trump has said for a long time needs to be dealt with. And after 47 years, he's doing something that no other president was willing to do.
Dude, it's so funny. The Economist claims Gulf leaders are privately urging President Donald Trump to continue the war with Iran, warning that ending now would leave them facing a wounded and hostile regime on their borders. According to The Economist, they fear Tehran would learn that striking Gulf states can pressure Washington to change course. And then the Financial Times is saying the exact opposite. The Financial Times is saying Gulf nations are taking a closer look at their, like, American trade relationships if America is not capable of defending them, and using that to pressure the American government to turn this war around and to stop it. Of course, out of like the highest priority in terms of coverage should be given to Financial Times. It is the most reliable newspaper out there. They very rarely miss.
The Lucas drones have been, what kind of targets we've hit, and how much that's helped, given that they're low-cost alternative to the more expensive fueling. Go ahead.
Like you had nations of the Gulf suspending LNG production and refinement of oil. Those things take at least a month to get running again. That means the short-term supply shock became permanent until things die down.
Capabilities being fielded. Obviously, I'm not going to talk about it from the operational perspective of what those are. But I think you have seen over a period of time us kind of get on the other side of this cost curve on drones in general. If I just walk back a couple of years, you remember what you used to always hear? We're shooting down a $50,000 drone with a $2 million missile. These days, we're spending a lot of time shooting down $100,000 drones with $10,000 weapons from ours. So that's one aspect of it. Lucas, indispensable. As many of you know, and if you don't know, this was an original Iranian drone design. We captured it, pulled the guts out, sent it back to America, put a little Made America on it, brought it back here, and we're shooting it at the Iranians.
They're using Shahed drones they call Lucas.
Good targets. Absolutely. Right there.
It's true. You saw one of them. They have Starlink equipped on them. It's obvious that it's a Shahed drone. It's the same. They literally took the Shahed drone and were like, they made it American.
But it's not now. Stay home. It's not.
Holy, he's lying so hard. It's not fake. It's real. We saw one of them. We saw one of them in Iraq. Remember when the guy literally found a Lucas drone? It looks exactly like a Shahed drone, except it has a Starlink on top of it, or what is it called? Star War or whatever. Star Wars. What's the defense one for Starlink? Stargate. Whatever the fuck it is. It's just Starlink. Okay. Star Shield. Sorry. Fuck. I don't know. It's Starlink. It's just Starlink, but defense. Okay. Star Shield. I apologize. Star Wars, fuck me, okay, chill. Oh, by the way, one thing that's really interesting that I've noticed is that CNN is still capable of sending journalists into Iran. And yet Israel still won't allow journalists to enter Gaza. CNN could go into Beirut. CNN can go to Lebanon, CNN can go to Iran, but CNN can't go into Gaza. How interesting. Yeah. Iran is allowing CNN, an American network from another country, currently bombing Iran alongside Israel, into the country to document the war. Imagine Israel allowing Iranian media into their country. Israel arrested me, an American journalist, from its closest ally simply for documenting Iranian attacks on the country the wrong way.
We just crossed the border and are now inside of Iran. The Iranian government has granted us a visa to come here and to report.
For the record, not only has the Iranian government granted them a visa, they might even offer them protection from, you know, fucking instability and American strikes. Israel won't even let CNN journalists enter Gaza.
From the Islamic Republic of Iran. We're now trying to make our way to the capital, Tehran, as fast as possible. But of course, the distances in this huge country are immense, and we know it's going to take many, many hours for us to get there. We also don't know what the situation on the road to Tehran is going to look like, how many checkpoints there's going to be. And of course, we know at the same time there are massive combat operations also going on. The United States and Israel are continuing their huge aerial campaign against targets inside of Iran. At the same time, the Iranians continue to retaliate, not just with their ballistic missiles, but with their drones, mostly hitting Israel, but then also American military installations, especially in the Gulf region, but in general, in the Middle East. In total, the Iranians are saying that they can continue this campaign for a very long time. They say that their missile arsenal is still immense, and they haven't even used some of their most modern missiles. But we also, of course, know that the place that we aim to go to, Tehran, has been under almost sustained attacks with massive airstrikes going on there and also huge damage being caused, and of course, many people also having been harmed.
I mean, this is real journalism. I don't care if he's doing propaganda for America. Like, this is still very fucking brave to do. Either way, this is what it's about. I mean, this man is inside of Iran, okay? He's able to show us like what the fuck is up inside of Iran. I think it's we'll see what his reporting will look like.
We're making fairly good progress towards Tehran. It is a very, very long drive, though. Some things that we are seeing, we already went past one place where apparently there had just been an airstrike. There was thick black smoke billowing over one place, so it seemed like a fairly fresh airstrike. Also some destroyed buildings that we saw from our vantage point as we were driving past. The other thing that I would also say is that there are definitely more checkpoints than usual. We did see checkpoints with fairly heavily armed security.
Like, the reason why Iran is doing this is literally because, well, they're desperate. They're desperate to show what the fuck America is doing to Iran. So much so that they'll let in an American journalist from CNN into the country to do reporting, because even if they're going to do propaganda against Iran while they're inside of Iran, they're still going to accidentally show the truth. That's it. Like, that's the calculation here, because even if you're going there with ambitions of like showcasing the ruthlessness and how the Iranian government is still the main villain of this story, blah, blah, blah, all this shit, like, it's very difficult to justify the fucking rubble that's standing behind you that like American tax dollars paid for. So even if it's to show that like impact, they're going to fucking let that happen.
Personnel. Other than that,
why isn't Iran releasing the media themselves? They are. You just never see it because you don't. When is the last time you saw FARS? Like, they do. You just don't see it. And not only that, but also it's state media. So obviously it's not super, super duper reliable. That's two. And number three, the American and Israeli government literally blew up their national TV station, their main fucking TV station.
Though it seems as though things are going on, and we certainly don't see any sign of order collapsing here. Taking a quick break for a coffee along the way. We've been driving for several hours. There's a couple of things that we've noticed. Number one is that, first of all the shops are open. All the shops are really well stocked, even with fresh things, like, for instance, fruits and vegetables. Coffee, obviously, also available as well. And then also the gas stations. There's no long lines as gas stations. Fuel seems readily available, and you just don't see any sort of degree of panic anywhere.
Brother, it's a massive country. By the time you get to Tehran, there's probably going to be a very different attitude. And also, what are the people supposed to do? They're just like, all right, whatever. Reminds me of the Blitz spirit, where Londoners were praised for keeping calm and carrying on, which actually was government propaganda, because in reality, people were absolutely scared and panicked. They were only carrying on because of either that or give up on life. I mean, I think, like, for Iranians, they're probably a little bit more used to fucking being bombed because they happen to be in Israel's neighborhood. You know? Zadie Hasan, my Lord and Savior, please answer my question. Does Palestine have a government? Not really. Any advice for a leftist Iranian diaspora in this trying time? Try to fucking educate your parents about all the ruthless attacks and all the death and destruction that's taking place right now. All the cultural artifacts that are being destroyed under American bombs, and how their tax dollars are participating in it to cut away at, like, because the diaspora population is used to do propaganda and to do pro-war propaganda, to do pro-regime change propaganda, to do pro-destabilization propaganda, because that's the ultimate ambition of America and Israel, especially Israel. So focus on showing your relatives, like, what they're, what the American government is doing.